Hey Todd, how are you?
Hey, Brian, what's up?
Not much. Welcome everybody. Welcome to an impromptu Westward Bees Saturday night. Joey last night I think talked about how he was unable to do his live because he was speaking at a local club. So Todd spontaneously about an hour ago reached out to me and said, "Hey, you want to go live?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" I'm not tired or anything. It wasn't the first market of the day, but let me tell you, man, what a day. It was so full of positive energy. No matter
Nice,
how tired I am, it's just, it's going to carry me for a little bit. So it was
nice,
really cool. Yeah.
nice. How was the market?
It was awesome, let me tell you. That's my cat. Sorry about that. Um we've had pretty cool week all week, kind of rainy and 50s and not great weather at all until today. It was like a picture perfect day and everyone came out and it was super busy and super crowded, and I probably don't have enough product for next weekend already, so it'll be a challenge, but it was great to see other people there, old friends, seeing other vendor friends. I saw an old student of mine from like my third year as a teacher.
Oh,
She came
wow.
around and recognized me, and it took me a minute to recognize her, but that was really cool. Yeah,
That's
so it was really really fun.
cool. Cool, cool.
What'd
Well,
you do
good.
today?
What did I do today? Well, I'll tell you a story. First of all, I have Formic Pro in my hives, so I
Okay.
can't do anything until this coming Wednesday when I take them off.
Okay.
So, and I'll tell you what, I hit it. I talk about getting the dose on just in the nick of time. It's going to turn into the 90s starting Thursday. And next
Okay.
Sunday's supposed to be 100. I'm like, oh,
Wow.
I'm not ready for this. But
Wow.
so since I couldn't do anything, oh, you fall over there? Is that
No, I'm
tire?
just on the move. I gotta let my cat out.
Oh,
I have the door closed because Jen's doing laundry, but my cat's trapped in here, but he wants to get out. There we go.
so I went over to the local pallet place because this guy's been advertising on Facebook Marketplace about boxes and stuff. And
Okay.
I thought, hey, I'm not doing anything. And so I went over there and I just so happened to have a box and a lid in the back of my truck. So we were sitting there talking, and I wanted to get mediums for honey supers, and
Okay.
that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So uh, he said, well, we could do a deal for you, like $10 a box. And I said, well, hey, I'm good with that. That's a good price.
These are
And
new, used?
new, brand new. They
Wow.
built them right
Okay.
there,
So assembled, unpainted?
assembled, unpainted. Yeah.
Okay. Still
So,
$10, man. Wow.
hey, you can't beat it with the stick, right?
Yeah.
So then we got talking more, and a lot of the guys that work there, and again, they make pallets for products, but they do bee boxes on the side. Well, they came from another pallet company in town that I used to go to, but stopped because just their quality went downhill because people left. Well, those people that left are at this place, this new
Yeah.
place.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, okay, and then the kid's dad is running the show over there, the kid that I was talking to, and the lid that I brought just so happened to have an X on the top because it's warped. You look down the side of it, and it's wavy. It's useless.
Okay.
So when I put that on there, I was talking about the gaps between the cleat on both sides and the end of the box. I wanted it a little tighter. So then his dad said something about steel ply, which is HDO.
Okay.
They call it steel ply over here. I don't know why.
Okay.
So they made me a free sample that fit that box just perfect the way I wanted it.
Huh.
And I said, how much are those? He goes, $7. I freaking ordered 50 right there.
Yeah, right.
I
That's a great
ordered
deal,
50
man.
boxes and 50 lists. And the lids that I have now supposedly are dipped, you know. So once you dip them, I know I saw Randy's name in here.
Yeah.
Once you dip them, that wood's not going to move. So if it's
Yeah.
straight, it's going to be straight for a long time. The lids that I got from the old place were dipped, but they weren't cooked. And so they're starting to wiggle and waggle, and I'm like, oh, what a mess. Robbing sucks, you know. So anyway, so I got a bunch of lids. I'm gonna get some more lids. Probably gonna get some more mediums. I'm gonna have to make a big order of frames, and I'm right at the edge of my organically grown money. So, but I have a show. I have another event on the 23rd. So in about 3 weeks.
Okay.
So we'll make some more there. But yeah, so that's what I did. And then
Nice.
I butchered up some beef and cooked one of the steaks on the barbecue. That's when I said, hey, let's do a live. Well, I put the steak on the barbecue. I'm like, oh crap. So
that's perfect. You know, while we got started, there's already 26 folks in here, a lot of friends already. I see Keith's in here. I got a lot of things that we applied today from our conversation Thursday. Matt's in here, Eric, Tom, Jonathan, Randy. How's it going, everybody? Welcome. I saw, go ahead.
I'm just going to answer Randy. He wants me to email him some boxes and lids.
Yeah, right. That's a great deal. Mark, I saw Mark Zenner, some of his frames of the 21st B half frames. He had a post of them being drawn out. That was pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah.
Tom Mack is in here. How's it going, Tom? I did post the link on the YouTube, so if anyone wants to join us, you're welcome to.
In. Jim, don't be scared.
The water's posted nice at the top.
Oh, what's happening, Roy?
So we got a market tomorrow still. It's probably our second best one compared to today. And we try to, like as we prepare for the weekend, we try to prepare all at once for the weekend, but it's hard during these, like usually the first month and the last month of the market season are really, really big compared to the rest because just people are, they're either stocking up at the end of the year or they've been itching all winter. So like today we did really, really well. We don't expect to do that well every single day throughout the year. It's just the opening day. So it's a little hard to kind of estimate exactly what you need.
Yeah.
We brought like 12 different flavors of honeys, Todd, and I sold out of like 4 of them and was down to like, because I'm like, I'll bring 6 of these, I'll bring 12 of these, and it's hard to know exactly what the customers are going to buy. There's John from Westcliff. Hey, John.
Hey, what's happening, John?
John, when do your markets start? They probably got snow the other night too up in Westcliff.
He's up at like 7,000 feet, isn't he? Something like that.
There's Russell as well. It was so funny the other night. I'm listening to Charlie's, and I did a little message saying, like, here begins my annual ritual of loading up the truck while listening to Charlie. And at one point, Russell goes, "Are you thinking about all the things you forgot to load yet?" And I was literally walking around the house doing that, looking around, going, "All right, what did I forget? What did I forget?"
I hate that.
And I did pretty good this time, except I brought a lot of water and I had a lot of drinks, but I didn't have a lot of food. And usually I go and I buy food from the food vendors, but I forgot that. There you go. 8,000 feet market start first weekend of June.
Wow.
Nice. I think he's going. Are you going up to Salida? Is that right, John? I think that's what he was saying. I think that'll be a great opportunity for him. It's a great mountain town. I think he'll do really well up there. There's Big Mike.
Big Mike, I'm out of honey.
I forgot what I was talking about. Something about the market.
Just forgetting stuff, but bringing stuff. You think you got everything.
I can't hear you, Todd.
Really?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear you at all. Can other people hear Todd?
Yeah. What the heck? The same, Red. I'm not on mute. Yo. Anybody hear
Friday
me?
is Westcliff Market. Saturday is Sled. I can hear Todd. Why can't I hear you, Todd? That's so weird.
I don't know. I don't know. Did you unplug? Can you hear? Well,
I don't know if I can leave and come back in. Can I do that as host?
You you know what? Before you do that, unplug your mic and plug it back in.
I can't hear anything now.
Oh, shit.
Maybe you keep talking, Todd. I'm gonna try to fix whatever. I think it's something wrong with my audio.
Hey, I'm typing. I wish I could do sign language, but I can't. There. Oh man, this is awkward. Well, while Brian's how about wow, Twilight Zone. Anything, Brian? Anything?
Todd, I still can't hear you, man.
Jump out.
All right, let me see if I can. Here, let me do this.
Back in.
Now can I hear you?
How about now?
Now I can hear you. There you go. Totally my fault.
What I was going to say is unplug your headphones and then plug them back in. That's what I was trying to say.
Perfect. I'll just keep them off. Right. Even better. You can hear me good like this?
Hear you fine.
All right.
Sorry about that. Worry. No worries.
Yeah, that was my Bluetooth for sure. I don't know why it did that though. It's just something just changed really quick.
Wow. Okay.
So you heard me the whole time?
Yeah.
Wow. Gotcha.
Yeah. And then I noticed that my background picture showed back up again. I don't know what happened last week.
Yeah. We're so clueless.
StreamYard has been kind of weird lately.
Yeah.
I saw Brian pop in here. Congratulations, Brian, on your grandson. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
How did the almonds do this year? Are the growers happy? Do you have a good sense of how it was this year, Todd?
I haven't heard yet.
Yeah.
That info should have been out. Well, yeah, it should have been out by now.
Hey, Clay.
I don't know. All I know is it was fast, and the growers like that because they have to spray fungicide. So as soon as all the bees are out, they could spray fungicide and not worry about rot and stuff like that.
What about the oranges? Are they popping yet?
Oh, they're done.
Oh, wow.
The oranges lasted according to the county, it was 14 days. But according to my oranges, they were 10. So it was great. It was almost 3 weeks early, and it was 3 weeks faster than normal.
Wow.
It usually lasts about 3 weeks. Well, no, I take that back. It was a couple weeks faster. Anyway, they're supposed to last 3 weeks. They usually do. This sure was 10 days, and that was it. So you get what you get,
So what's your flow right now from?
The privet not the privet, the yellow thistle, and there's a Japanese privet tree, and then the tallow is coming in now.
Okay.
So that's going on, and I know that it's going on because I had a little bucket of leftover honey. I mean, there was maybe a handful, and they hit it one day. Excuse me, my allergies are killing me. I left it out in the backyard just so I know what's going on. I kind of see what's happening. Yep. Well, they were hitting it hard the other day, and then yesterday and today, nothing. So something's blooming. I've seen some thistle going, but not in full bloom yet.
Gotcha. Well, here in Colorado, with the drought and everything, it was interesting checking in with farmers at the farmers markets. There's definitely some people who are worried about water usage this year. We have a couple of big big orchards, big fruit growers that lost their entire crop here in Colorado because of one freeze in April. So there's a couple of big fruit vendors that sell peaches, apricots, all that kind of those pit fruits. They lost their entire crop. So that's a pretty big blow, man. So they still have food that they've made from their crops from previous years that they'll be selling, but they've lost everything.
You know, funny you mentioned that. You've heard of Del Monte, the Del Monte brand, right?
Yes.
All the peach growers up in Northern California, they're high and dry. Del Monte left the state. There's no contracts. There's no processing plant. Whoever wants to buy peaches, you can make a killing by buying them here, and you'd have to reefer them out of state somewhere to have them processed.
Yeah.
The growers are like, oh, what do we do? You know, it's sad. It's really sad. Tons of peaches.
Joey, hope your talk went well. I wonder what his topic was. What do you think, Todd? What did Joey talk about tonight?
Hive beetles.
Hive beetles, definitely appropriate for that area. I actually had a conversation with a beekeeper at the market today, and they were having hive beetle problems. And that's definitely not normal for Colorado. I don't remember who that was. I talked to like 5 different beekeepers today, you know, just trying to sell some bees. I had my sign up, need bees, 5-frame nukes for sale. But that's definitely a possibility. I was going to guess swarm traps because he's been doing a lot of videos on swarm trapping. That might be a little late because, you know, it'd be a better topic a month or 2 ago when you're getting ready to put up swarm traps to catch them. But he's definitely been talking about that a lot.
Yeah. You know, I saw my first and second hive beetle this year in my hives, and I've never seen them before. So I'm like, oh no. So as soon as the formake is done, I'm going to put those dryer sheets. I don't know why I saved a few, but I saved a few. And so I have them on 2 hives that I gathered from a swarm from I think I told you the story about the Caltrans swarm and the bee thieves. So 2 of those hives, I didn't even think about it, but I imported small hive beetle. So I have to watch it this year, but there's no way they can grow at where I'm at. Where I got them from, yes, but not where I'm at. So.
I'm surprised because I would think you would see more small hive beetles just from so many bees coming into the area where you are every year, you know?
Well, it's dependent upon the soil. If they can really penetrate the soil, then yeah. And you would get that like in an almond orchard. But where I'm at and my bees and that little 50-foot area, 100 by 50-foot area, it's like cement. And that's another reason why I have that geo carpet that's down on the ground.
Yep.
So they can't crawl very far when it's hot. They'll melt.
I got a text from one of my host hive people. There's folks, they must have like an acre of property. There's like a tennis court in their backyard, and I have 6 colonies back there. I got the post of the swarm on the tree today, and it was definitely one that I didn't want to go get, but because it was a host hive person, I was like, all right, give me a minute. And it was easy because it was like 3 feet off the ground, but it was a multiple virgin queen one. So I shook them right into the box, and they weren't cooperating going in. And I'm like, what's going on? And I saw a queen running around, and then I saw another queen running around. So I caught one queen and I put it in the box with the bees that were in there. And then all the other bees that were stuck on the outside and were going back to the branch, I just vacuumed up because they're going to go in 2 different places anyway. Because there are at least 2 different queens. And if they're more than that, then they're going to have to figure it out amongst themselves.
Yeah. You know, our swarm season it lasted 1 week. The club got a lot of calls for like 3-4 days, and that was it.
Hmm.
And yeah, there's not been really any swarming around here at all this year. It's kind of weird. So
We've
I,
had a
I
real we've had a really extended swarm season because of that really warm weather early pushed our bees forward, and we had that early swarm, and then everything kind of paused for a little bit as it got cool, and now it's going to ramp up again as our nectar flow is going to pick up. Everything that hasn't swarmed already is going to be on the edge of swarming if it hasn't been managed for size and volume and all that good stuff.
you know, I put all the boxes I had out there to give them plenty of room. And now I'm wondering, I wonder if I really had to do that. But I was like freaked out after last year. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna, I'm not gonna take the chance. So that's what I did.
yeah.
And they use the extra space to put honey in or nectar in. So, I got, I didn't get as much as I like my high end of the normal, but I had about 700 pounds, and that was in 10 days. So that's not too bad at all.
Nice.
I'll take that. That's better than a kick in the pants.
Yeah. It always seems like Bryan and Castle, maybe it's Ohio in general, but they seem to have really challenging weather too. Like a
Yeah.
lot of fluctuating weather. Seemed like it
Yeah.
was really, they had a really late winter, it seemed like this year.
I think Ohio and that upper Rust Belt has problems with winter and spring having arguments,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and that's what's going on right now.
We'll test you every year. Yeah, I can imagine. Do you, Bryan, do you have any markets coming up? What's your market season going to look like this year?
Mm.
One thing I honestly, Todd, I thought I was ready for the market season. And then today happened and we sold so much stuff. And then I came home and I'm like, I got to do this all again next weekend. I got to spend all week preparing for next weekend too. So I don't think I was as prepared as I thought I was.
Uh,
And I
no.
haven't even started pulling my honey yet this year because I
Yeah.
have plenty left from last year, but that's not going to last too long. I think I have like 12 buckets left, and each bucket is like a batch of something. So and I don't fill my buckets to 6 gallons because I don't want to have a full bucket. So mine are usually somewhere between 45 and 50 pounds. And I'll make a batch of whatever I'm making. That'll be the size of my batch. So
Yeah.
each one of those buckets is essentially a batch of whatever I'm making.
Yeah.
So I made some lemon ginger this week and I made some
Ooh, nice.
blueberry this week, and it
Nice.
wasn't completely set. So as it was at the market, it was like somewhere between runny honey and creamed honey, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
So we just went with it. It'll be good. You'll be fine, folks. But we sold a lot of the lemon ginger. We sold a lot of everything pretty much today. We did really well.
You
Sold a
know,
couple of hats. There's a couple more Flower Street Farm hats out there. It's always a good
oh,
day when you
nice.
sell a hat. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, I sent out a note to Brian, but he said he's tinkering right now with his 3D printer. So
Tom has a 3D printer.
that's what he said.
Tom Sossman?
Oh no, not Tom. Brian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah. I don't know why I said Tom. Oh well. I have 2 jars of orange left,
Okay.
orange creamed honey,
Yeah.
and it's just orange honey. I didn't add orange flavoring to it.
Right.
And 2 weeks ago, whenever I did that market, it got a little warm, and so now it's kind of I I don't know it just has that look. It's kind of separating a little.
It's almost like marbled looking,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What are you gonna
So
do about that?
I'll probably discount it. I don't want to, you know, I'll discount it. I only have 2 left, so I'll take it to that thing in a couple of weeks and
Yeah.
and just mark it down. Or say,
Yeah.
hey, nothing's wrong with it, you know.
Hey,
Uh,
Glade. Glade's in the chat from Utah. Glade, we offer rotating flavors throughout the year. Today we had our regular raw honey, a hot honey, trying to go through the table so I can remember it visually, a vanilla infused honey, an espresso infused honey, and a chai infused honey, chai tea. And then our creamed honeys, we had plain creamed honey, lemon, blueberry, lemon ginger, matcha, vanilla,
Oh.
chocolate cinnamon. So we had a lot. That's a lot of flavors. And I actually, honestly, oftentimes that's probably too much, but not today, not for like the big events where people are definitely ready to buy. And that felt really good. I don't know how it's going to look for the year, but from the first market day, it felt like people were willing to spend money. So we'll see how that sustains throughout the year, but today definitely felt good in that sense.
There's a question for you.
Is it easy? I guess fairly. I mean, the hardest part is getting your seed going. Once you have a seed going, you can use a mixer to add liquid honey into that seed to make a small batch. You can use that mixer to make like a gallon or so of creamed honey to make a seed for a bigger vessel, like a creamer, like an electric creamer that you would purchase. You can do some experimental small batches in that mixer as well. If you're going to use the mixer, I would recommend the dough hook attachment. That's got the least surface area. You can't, at least mine, even the lowest speed is maybe a little faster than I want it to be. So I try to reduce the surface area contact by using the smallest one. That's the one that kind of looks like just like a dough hook or like the pirate's hook. So once you get that seed started, then yeah, it's fairly easy. You just have to go by it every, once, twice, 3 times a day, turn it on for a little bit, and then don't forget to turn it off and blow the motor because you walked away and, got distracted by a garage job and walk back an hour later and it's still on and the motor's really, really hot. You don't want that to happen. And some people have set up timers to it, so they don't even have to worry about that. The timer will turn it on or off.
You got me going on creamed honey. I saw how you started out, and I went to Better Bee and I ordered that.
Their seed, the powdered seed, right?
Seed mixer. It looks like a gigantic.
Yeah.
And I bought the seed at Walmart. That Miller Bee out of I think it's Utah. I don't think the honey was. It was clover honey, but it was creamed honey. So I bet anything that came out of North or South Dakota. But anyway, they sell 1 pound tubs of plastic tubs, and so I just started using that as my seed.
Yeah,
and I just went from there.
Were you happy with your product?
Yeah, it came out great. It came out great with that drill. I mean, it was, and I did it for like 15 minutes in the morning, and then I did it for 15 or 20 or 30 minutes at night when I got home.
Yeah.
And it worked out good. I was very happy with it.
You can get a really good product with that, and you're paying like $100 for supplies, the drill and the bit itself. I went and got a Harbor Freight mortar drill, and I used that to make my creamed honey and my syrup. And that's it. Like, it's not a tool that gets used for other stuff. It's a piece of equipment for the business. And I think I have 3 or 4 of the different bits, because there are times I'm doing multiple batches and I'll leave the bit in the bucket because I don't want to pull it out and deal with the bit that's full of honey. So I'll detach the bit from the drill, leave the bit in the bucket, and put a lid over it, covering it as much as possible, and then come back the next time and reattach it. That's how I'll do multiple batches like that.
You go to Data and you could buy that creamed honey powder seed, or whatever it is. Yeah, just dump it in the bucket and mix it up. Boom, you're done.
Yep.
It's crazy how easy that is. And it's not too bad.
That's what I hear. I've never used it, but I've heard people say it makes a good product as well.
It does. It really does. I made a batch of wildflower with my last bucket of summer honey from last year, and then what was the and cinnamon. So I did the wildflower first. It's just wildflower honey, but I poured in the powder, made that, poured off as much as I wanted, then added some more honey and some more powder, and then I made cinnamon, and boom, that's done.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that stuff a day dance. It's a time saver for sure. So
do you plan on making any new flavors this year? Do you foresee yourself getting a good honey harvest?
I'm looking forward to summer. The summer harvest is I think it's gonna be really good because there's so much water in the ground.
Yeah.
And what is it? It's the beginning of May, and the freaking blue curl is starting to pop up out of the ground in spots, and that usually doesn't happen until July. So I don't know how long that's going to run, but there's other wildflowers that are coming. There's tons of thistle. All the wildflowers are coming out. Tarweed, everything. So it should be pretty good. And then as far as products, I think I told you I'm going to stick to cinnamon, lemon, and plain or wildflower, and that's it. That's it. I don't want to have too much inventory. So
it's a great idea, Russell. Russell's always got great ideas. If you ever see a comment of Russell's in the comment section, make sure you read it. I'm not sure he's the kind of guy who's ever going to come on live, but he's got so many great tips that have improved my creamed honey game. And here's one of them. Little hole in the lid, so you don't have to do what I was just describing. It's definitely a better system than what I'm using, for sure.
I got his cell number at Nobby, and I want to call him and beg him to come on one of our Thursday night shows.
Yeah.
Because he has a lot of knowledge, and that's a really good idea that I personally would not have thought of.
He was the one who one time I was on one of these chats and I was talking about how, because I do rotating honeys throughout the season, I do a lot more infused honeys than creamed honeys in the hottest part of the summer, because it's really hard to, like you just talked about with your honey, it's really hard to keep that honey and manage it in the heat. And he was like, why don't you just bring a cooler? And I was like, well, duh. Right? It's definitely a little bit more work, but that doesn't matter because I'm going to be able to sell more products. So it's one of those ideas that's so obvious once you hear it that you're like, well, why hasn't my brain come across that idea yet? So Russell, really appreciate all the tips and tricks that you've shared with our community over the years.
And I'm going to call and beg you to come on our show one night. So expect that call. Area code 559. I'm sure you wrote it down in your phone, but 559. When the 559 is calling, that means it's someone at the 559 is begging you to come on their show.
I'm glad I'm hearing from you that you're feeling like your early season isn't going to mean that your season's going to end early. It sounds for you like you're feeling it's going to extend it.
You know what's really going to be the wild card this year, and it might affect you too, is that super El Nino.
That's what I'm looking for, that moisture. If that thing is real, then we might be okay. Yeah.
This time last year, I told everybody, I was talking to my mom about this morning, where I already had a feel for a cooler summer, and it was a cooler summer. I think the hottest it got was 105, which is nice. But this time last year, it felt like it was going to be a cool summer, but I don't have any sense of this year. And I think it's because of the impending super El Nino. So we could get a ton of rain. We could get a ton of monsoon rain coming up from Mexico. It could be cooler. There's just all kinds of things. So I don't know. I know it's not going to be a dry year, which is good for wildflower, obviously.
Yeah.
But who knows? We might get rains at the wrong time and wash out a lot of like blue curl, and you never know.
Sure. we're so drought focused here in Colorado. There's rarely a bad time for rain unless it's all at once.
Yeah.
Um, but that's something I'm a little bit worried about with that really early flow. We've had the strongest March flow I've ever seen here. It
Oh,
was
nice.
crazy, and everything is really early. Does that mean that everything is going to end early too? I don't know. And that definitely messes up with the beekeeper's timing as you're looking to put your honey flow in and time it to do your swarm management and prevention. And those are
Mhm.
all some of the dances we play as a beekeeper. You go into the year, if you're a competent beekeeper, with the plan, and you go like, all right, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. And
Yeah.
that X factor of weather makes you adjust your plan almost immediately and take that plan and kind of piece it apart sometimes. And that's what I've had to do already this year. And some decisions have been like, they've been great, and other ones have been, well, that one swarmed. What are you going to do? Going to put 2 honey supers on and come back in a month, you know? So,
Talk about the weather I forgot what day it was, on Monday or Tuesday, I think. I got these alerts from YouTube for that Ryan Hall channel. It's
yeah,
the weather
the
guy.
weather. Yeah.
And they were having a tornado outbreak in Missouri. And I thought, oh, crap. And then he starts talking about Matt's area, and I thought, oh, I wonder if he knows this. And I said, hey, Matt, there's a tornado coming to your west or from your west. And I guess he knew. He said it was going to go right over his bee yard. And luckily, I guess it jumped over or something, but he survived. There he is right there, the early bloom. And I guess they're getting tons and tons of black locust nectar. Oops.
Yeah, I think we put it up at the same time. See, and that's why Matt's a good beekeeper. He's already thinking about how to adjust his plan with what he's seeing right now. He's anticipating what, a month, 6 weeks from now, right now, based on what he's seeing.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, he's got it all figured out right in his area. That's for sure. I would have just hated to see a storm just go by and wipe him out. That would have really sucked.
I don't know if you're going to see this. I got this picture posted to me today. If I get too close, you can't see it.
Or angle it like downward a little.
All right, that's a waste of time. What you're seeing is a driveway. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
I don't know which one to use.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Angle it down a little bit.
Okay. Do you see the snow? Do you see the driveway?
Oh, yeah.
Do you see the bear?
Standing up in the yard, or the bear on the driveway?
That's a bear right there. So I know it's a terrible picture and a terrible showing of it, but that's my new bee yard. That giant fence that the guy put up?
Oh.
So he's like, I got a picture of this on my driveway the other day. Nothing by the electric fence, though. So the fence is hot. We'll see how it goes. And this is that yard where the guy has the apamaze. So the first bees I put in his apamaze. And I got a couple of my colonies out there already, but this is my first experience really with bees in bear country. So kind of I'm counting on someone else, and that feels a little tenuous,
Those bees can dissect an apamate pretty quick, I imagine.
The bears, yeah.
Or bears, not bees. Yeah.
And the ones I have there are strapped together, so the bears will have a time for sure with whatever they get. Ripple says, hey, Brian, what are your top 3 creamed honey flavors? Plain is a popular one.
Yep.
Lemon and lemon ginger are my favorites, so I sell them really well because that people often ask me, which one do you really like? And that's where I go to. Jen sells the matcha one really well because that's the one she likes. Not a big fan of matcha. Um, our seasonal ones tend to be really popular. So we'll do like a peach creamed honey during the peach harvest here in Colorado. We'll do an apple pie during the apple harvest season. But I would say the plain lemon creamed, lemon ginger, maybe cinnamon too. I guess those would be the most popular.
You know, on this topic, do your flavors age better like wine? Do they get better over time?
That's really hard to say, Todd, because I don't get a chance to I've
Keep
never had my creamed honey 2 years from when I made it because it's not
Yeah,
around. The only time I'm having my creamed honey like 6 months after a batch is if I'm eating one of our tasters that I'm just using up the rest of the honey from that
yeah.
taster that we've used. So I can't answer that. I have no idea.
Because I had to open up, I made an apple pie spice last year and I still have some left, but I had to open up another jar for a sampler. And I took a sample of that. Well, actually, I didn't at first. Some lady, she said, "Can I have another sample? That is really good." I said, "Yeah, just dig in there and get what you want." I had those little plastic spoons. And then when she left, I thought, maybe I should try this and see where it's at. And holy cow, it got better. It got really good.
Nice.
So yeah, so it aged pretty well.
Let me tell you, that reminds me of something that happens at a market, and I love it every time it happens. It's like the best marketing ever. When someone's in your booth and they have like friends waiting outside the booth and kind of not interested, and you give that person a taste of that honey, and then they like yell to their friends, "Oh my God, you got to come over here and try this." I'm like, yell it a little louder, please, ma'am, so
Yeah.
other people can hear as well. But that's the best
Yeah.
advertising.
Yeah,
You
that's
see
pretty good.
Alicia's in here. She's in the Dominican Republic right now. I think I
Shoot.
saw a quick
That's
live from her where she was on the beach or something tonight. So have fun out there, Alicia. I hope
wow.
you're having more fun out there than Matt is having at home. Let's just say it that way.
uh, yeah, so it was a close call, I guess, for Matt. Well, I'm glad that it didn't hit. That's good.
Oh, with the weather.
Yeah, with the tornado, yeah, it was actual tornado, I guess, that was rolling around somewhere around that area. Not, I mean, not his area, obviously, but yeah, it was crazy weather last week. We had four tornadoes here this year, which is very rare.
Wow.
Yeah, and two of them were F1s, and the other two were F0s. So not really powerful, but for people around here that have never experienced it, they were freaking out. I am
Yeah.
like people calm down. It's just strong winds, you know. It's like a really strong dirt devil. That's all it is.
Yeah,
Like
right.
super strong dirt devil. Yeah.
I have a question for the people in the chats. For people who make creamed honey in the chats, what are your best selling flavors?
Mm.
And I know some of you folks in there are creamed honey fans, or even if you don't make creamed honey, what are some of your favorite flavors that you've eaten? I have to confess, I still haven't watched Kevin Monfeld's creamed honey presentation from Nabby. That's one
Oh,
I have to get to, and I don't know why I haven't watched it yet because I'm sure there are great nuggets in there as well.
I keep forgetting about that.
I think I've gotten through about half of them, but I'm the same. I keep forgetting to go back to them because I always go right like, what's on YouTube today? What's on YouTube today?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, I tell you, the one presentation, my favorite one so far is Greg Rogers on, I guess, hide management. I think that was the title of it.
His
But
was like a deep and a medium from this
yeah,
year.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever that was,
Yeah.
whatever it was titled. But yeah, that was a really good presentation. I like that.
Thank you, Eric. Eric says, I like Flower Street Farm cinnamon. Looking forward to the lemon ginger. John at Westcliff says cinnamon lemon chai. Mark says lemon cream and plain creamed honey from tallow. That's a
Ooh,
really important comment right there. Creamed honey
yeah,
from a particular type of honey is going to be a different creamed honey from a
yeah.
different type of honey. So some honeys make better creamed honeys than others. And I can't say I'm familiar with tallow. I'm guessing I've probably gotten some tallow from some of our southern friends as we've done honey swaps, but I'm not really familiar with it. Russell says over the last 4 years,
Yeah.
lemon is number one, then cinnamon and apple cinnamon. As a specially seasonal flavor, rhubarb is
Ooh,
hot. That's a
whoa,
surprise.
whoa. I would have never thought about making that.
Do you like it, Russell? What do you think of the rhubarb?
How about some spinach creamed honey? That should go over good. Hey, maybe we can make asparagus creamed honey. I'd like to buy some of that. Or broccoli creamed honey. I mean, come on now.
Eric loves the idea of rhubarb.
That's out there. Ooh, kale.
I'm working on a small batch right now. We did a small event at a almost like a boutique tea store, like really, really boutique, small batch kind of tea store. And Jen came home with some Shashandra berries. Have you ever heard of this? Yeah, nor have I.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try a Shashandra creamed honey, and it might be good. It might not. I'm not sure, but I think our challenge is going to be in the marketing because how many people know exactly what those berries are? I'm not sure.
Is that a red berry?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and I think it might have some tartness to it,
Yeah.
so it'll be interesting to see how the sweet balances it out.
Hmm.
A sweet tart creamed honey. There you go. DC just
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah.
I have never tried. Have you ever seen like a salted honey? Have you ever seen those? Has
No.
anyone in the chats that seen that? That's something I'm curious about. Do you just add
Salt.
salt to your liquid honey and mix it up? And has anyone tried it? What do they think about it? That's one that I've seen that I've been curious about.
Oh, you've actually seen it.
Yeah, I've seen there are people out there making it for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's that sweet and salty. It's such a good
Yeah.
balance on the palate. It makes sense. I've heard of people using the pretzel sticks as a honey taster. So instead of using wooden or plastic, you can use now. It's probably not to code wherever you're at, but I think it's really smart at the palate, balancing out that sweet and salty. There's Philip.
Yeah.
Hey, Philip.
Look at Mark. That would be good. Bacon creamed honey.
Bacon creamed honey.
Yeah. I do draw the line at bacon. I did see some store that had like the old time candies. In the fridge, they had bacon creamed soda or something like that. I said, no, that's no thanks.
Yeah.
I won't do that. And then was it Matt said he uses a wildflower for his hot honey, and so do I, because I don't think orange would be a good base. So I'm going to have to wait until I get some honey coming in before I can make some more. I still have some left, but
All right. So here's my question for you. When you make a batch of hot honey on a scale of 1 to 10, from least spicy to spiciest, what are you shooting for in that range?
I can tell you that. Well, first of all, I'm not. But what I've noticed and what I've heard is if I make a hot honey with fresh habanero peppers versus making a hot honey with flake, the flake is hotter than the fresh pepper
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
And I guess if I leave the fresh pepper in there for a long time, I could probably get up to that spot. But I don't know why the flake is so spicy, but it's hot, and so I do have a label that I'm gonna change as soon as I run out. That flake hot honey is it's gonna say honey, or it's gonna say hot AF honey.
Yeah.
And that should sell pretty good.
Yeah. DC and John are exactly where I'm at. I try to shoot for a 5 and I try to be consistent. And I bet this is probably more important for me who has a regular customer coming back than for someone like you who might be hitting a different customer every time. Because if I make a batch of hot honey that's a 7 and a customer really likes it and they come back and the next time it's a 3, they're going to be disappointed, or vice versa, right? So I try to shoot for a 5, but it's kind of hard it's really
But,
hard. I don't know.
but how do you measure that? How do you quantify it? Because
Yeah.
uh,
That's what I do. I taste it and then I change it and then I taste it again and then I change it and then I taste it again. And then my palate can't really quantify it because it's already kind of contaminated with that taste. So then I pull my kid in and I'm like, all right, just taste this. Tell me what number you give it. So that's kind of how I do it. And I even ask customers too, as I come out with a new batch, what do you think? Where is it on the heat scale? Because
yeah.
I have, like, the last batch I did was like a 7 and I have 3 of them left, but our taster is from our new batch and it's definitely not as hot. So if someone likes my taster and I sell them one of the 3 from the old batch, they're probably going to be like, hey, that's not the product I tasted, and they might be happy with it, they might not. So I kind of do the same. I try to shoot for that middle of the road, that 5.
If Matt's is a 5, then I'm making 1s, because Matt's will light me up like a light bulb.
Yeah.
That's too much for me.
And John says Lisa is his taste tester. She tells me when it's done. Nice. Russell says, do you leave the fruit from the peppers in the jar? No, I don't.
But you know what I did? So when I made that fresh habanero recipe, after I strained off the peppers, I put them into a little jar and I added a little honey, and I actually took them to work, and people were like, "Oh wow, this is great!" They'd eat the pepper. I'm like, "Holy Moses, you got an iron belly."
I've done that once or twice, and it does come up with a really good product, but it's not something that is legal. It's so. I've tried. There's Tom, Melissa. Hey, folks.
And definitely, it's not shelf stable. That's sure.
Right. And I try to stay away from stuff like that. Yeah. We do most of the stuff by the law, but there's a little things that are gray areas here and there, and we try to not gather attention, So if you do something that's clearly illegal, people are going to notice it a whole lot more. Yeah. We're actually really excited about, there's something right now called the Tamale Act that's going through the Colorado legislature, which expands our Colorado Food Act a little bit to more products. And it would allow me to do things like a honey butter or something like that isn't like that has a dairy product in it that I would still be able to legally sell and make in a home kitchen that I currently can't. So that's one of those things where I'm like, I'm not going to deal with the dairy product and the gray area unless it's, unless they change the law. So I'll stay away from that one until maybe even like a honey mustard. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah. The organization I work for, we have a board member who is a state legislator, and he crafted the bill that several years ago for growers in the state. They have to notify beekeepers when they're going to spray it, because I guess California never had that enacted. But so, hey, Ian. So anyway, I want to I've been trying to talk to him, and I've talked to him several times at different events. And I want to sit down with him and discuss changing the Cottage Food Law Act as far as honey, because right now it says it has to be 100% honey. Okay, well, creamed honey is 100% honey. But what they're doing is they're making sure that nothing is added, and this is for other foods, that where botulism comes in or salmonella poisoning. But if you add powder, a powdered flavoring is not going to, it's not going to, do anything. It's not going to create botulism. It's not going to rot. It's never going to go bad. It's already, it's been processed. So I'm trying to get together with them to see if we can have some type of legislation change in this state, at least. Other states are doing it. So,
Todd, are you familiar with Missouri's story and what Eugene Makovich did for Missouri?
No.
Do you know who Eugene Makovich is?
No, I don't.
He's the editor for the American Bee Journal. He lives in Missouri. He's a beekeeper himself, and he was, as a honey seller, frustrated with the honey laws. So he advocated for. He essentially made what's called a Honey Act, I believe, which is separate from Missouri's Cottage Food Act, because oftentimes laws that make sense for some cottage foods just get applied to honey because they're all grouped together and they don't make sense for honey. So he was able to create the Missouri's new honey law, which allows people to sell their honey under a much more beneficial system. And I'm sure Melissa and Tom would know a whole lot more of the details than I do.
Well, and I can tell you right now, the Cottage Law Act here, honey is under line number 8, and it says honey, then a dash, then it has 3 words or 4 words, must be 100% honey, and that's it. And you go to every other category and there's paragraphs and this and that. They're very specific. I'm like, come on, man, let's change this a little bit. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. I've been seeing him, like I said, seeing him at events and kind of chit chat with him a little bit, and a little bit meaning like 45 seconds to a minute. That's it. That's all the time I have.
Sure.
So every little bit counts.
Nice. Well, that'd be a big thing to do if you could make some change in California for beekeepers, for sure.
Yeah. We'll see. We will see for sure. What else was I going to say? Well, heck, it went right out of my head. I had a JW moment, I guess. Can't think of it.
I saw JW posting today on Facebook that he was going to quit Facebook because he was tired of it all. Did you see that?
No.
And I thought to myself, someone must have hacked JW. This isn't the usual cheerful guy I know.
I'm gonna have to look that one up. That's funny.
Yeah. I wonder, Matt, Sandy Valley, do you guys make creamed honey? What kind of flavors do you do, if you do? And if you don't, do you plan on doing that? Is that a goal for growth for you guys?
Hey, Brian, pin the link on the YouTube side.
Yeah.
It's not up there. I just looked.
Keep talking while I do this. This is gonna...
okay. So I have no idea.
Well, what's coming up with your bees?
Huh?
What's coming up with your bees?
Well, like I said, Formic is coming off on Wednesday, and then I have another yard. And so since my bees have been treated and fumigated, I'm going to make splits off of them and put the older queens out on the new place with some brood, a couple frames, and then at least I'll know for a little while that they might be 95% bite free. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's about it. The only thing I have to worry about now, and you had mentioned a bear, is this is right up against the foothills of the Sierras. And bears actually have been around my neck of the woods. So I'm sure bears pass through that area where I'm going to be putting bees. So I'm just going to have to wait and see about that. I'll cross my fingers because I really don't want to put a fence up there. And then, of course, the other part is rattlesnakes. As long as there's no boulders around there, I might be okay with rattlesnakes, but definitely don't like rattlesnakes. So,
Did you get a chance to see Lee's video the other day of him
yeah.
wrangling those snakes?
Yeah.
Would you do that, Todd?
I've done something like that with not a rat snake, but what's called a black snake. It was like 7 feet long. It was wrapped around my neighbor's rocking chair on the front porch when I lived in Missouri. She freaked out and called me, and so I went over there and took care of it. But a rat snake has teeth, and I don't think a black snake does have teeth.
Okay.
So I'm like, no, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But
if I saw a snake, I wouldn't be freaked out. Like I'd be like, "Oh, look, cool, a rattlesnake or whatever," and then go up and look to it. However, if I was like startled by a snake, I'm pretty sure I would jump. I'm pretty sure that would happen.
If I do put up a fence for rattlesnakes, I'm going to have it like a half inch above the surface, maybe I'll lay it on. Oh, I can't because it would ground out. But yeah, I'll probably make a snake fence if I do have rattlesnakes there. You know what I finally have gotten used to, and I had nightmares about this when I first had bees out at the farm, are those dadgum black widows.
Yeah.
I do not like black widows, but I've come to understand them, and I don't freak out anymore when I see one under a lid, on the edge. That used to get me.
Do you see them often enough that you check regularly?
Every time I open a lid. That's why I have to wear gloves. I got bit by one when I was a kid, and it made me sick.
I bet.
It was bad. So that's why I wear gloves.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, it's and I don't know how they get up there. They bypass the oil traps somehow. And man, I'm not kidding you. They get humongous, like the size of $50. I mean, they're humongous. And I had a dream one night where I envisioned these black widow spiders just crawling through the terrain and coming up on my bees and jumping up on the pallets. But I'm okay with them now. But
there's Nancy. Good to see you, Nancy. Hope you're doing well. We have black widows here as well, but it doesn't seem like they're as prolific. So I've seen one underneath a lid, and I've seen two in my backyard since living here in Lakewood. So they're here, just not everywhere.
It's probably because of the cold too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That cold helps kill everything. But yeah, I do not. We have an understanding, and usually the understanding is a stick that goes between the pallets and cleans up the black widows.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have a lot of rattlesnakes where you live?
No. They stick up close to the foothills. If there's boulders, they live, that's where they live. They live under rocks.
Yeah.
But no. And there are no boulders on the farm, so it's okay. Matter of fact, I've never seen a snake, period, over there. I've seen one in my house, but not at the farm. So I don't know if that's good or bad. Actually, there's so many mice around there that they're probably pretty busy staying in one spot instead of moving around looking. So
yeah,
that might be why.
I didn't tell Tom and Melissa this, but that Morrison site, actually this site here, this is one of the places we worked. I've never seen them there, but when the guy showed me the place, he's like, yeah, you probably want to be careful for rattlesnakes out here, which doesn't surprise me because I've
Mm.
seen rattlesnakes, not here, but in other areas right around here when I used to mountain bike. I used to see them every once in a while. So I didn't tell them that day because I didn't want them to freak out because it was like 75 degrees. It'd be a day
Ooh.
for a snake to be out, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? But I've never seen them there. I saw a coyote there once. I see hawks there all the time, but never any rattlesnakes.
Wow. Yeah, those aren't
Yeah,
fun. That'll
golf
ruin
course.
your day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and this is one of those things where this is a yard that these bees do great. And literally, if you look over in this direction, maybe a quarter of a mile, you can see the green of one of the holes to this golf course. And then a mile to the south is a different golf course. And these bees do just fine. So, that story. Now, I'm not saying what golf courses do for all the trees and plants and everything there is good for bees, but I am saying that if you put bees right next to a golf course, it's not necessarily going to kill them. They have
Yeah.
plenty of good places to get food, and honestly, I don't know if they're hitting stuff on the golf course or not, but it's been a great yard for me. Yeah, Tom hiked up to the top of the hill, didn't see any rattlesnakes. Nice. I think he went to the top, maybe the top of this hill here, and took a picture just of the kind of the overview all around.
Well, yeah. Snakes and black widows. That's not a good combination.
What are your biggest? You have ant problems. That's probably your biggest critter problem.
Yeah, you know what? I had a ant invade a colony I wanted to graft off of.
Yeah.
It took them like 2 days and they were gone.
Wow.
They left the brood and everything. I mean, they took what they could take with them. And yeah, I had tons of dead brood in there. I was walking in there and you catch that smell of dead brood. And I'm like, uh-oh. I wonder who this could be. And I turn around, I look at the box, and all you can see are like a super highway of ants. And I'm like, oh no. And all it was like a little twig that was about 3 inches long that got blown up against the oil trap, and they used it as a ladder, and off they went. So
that's crazy.
Yeah,
a little stick could kill a colony or be responsible for that colony getting killed. That's crazy.
Yeah. I think what I'm going to try this year is I can't remember the guy's name, the pest control guy, but Joey follows him. I think he's in Louisiana. He has a good ant recipe, and you put it like in a little like plastic. Like something the size of a sandwich.
Yeah.
It's like it holds deli meats. And you drill some holes in the side so the bees can't get in there, but you put sugar and borax in there. And you mix it, just at the right amount. Slap that lid on there. I'm gonna make like 20 of them and put them underneath some of my pallets, and then just let them munch on it and take it back to their nest and kill everything. Because that's what happens. They get that borax and they take it back in, and they're feeding off the sugar and the borax. And when they feed the queen, that's it. So I don't know, but like I said before, I think there are more ants on this farm than there are people on this planet. I mean, it's ridiculous. Ants. It really is. I mean, if you stand in one spot too long, they'll start a trail going over your shoes or your boots.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Besides ants, what are other pests that you deal with?
That's really my main problem. Besides the regular stuff, mites, but
yeah,
ants are my number one enemy. Enemy number two, obviously mites are enemy number one, but enemy number two are ants. It's tiring. It's taxing. I'm sick of it, but it's what I have to do. It's too much. I have Do you know what a Webster is?
No.
Okay, it's that long extension pole with like a kind of a half round brush on it. That's a 360. Well, people buy them. You can get them at Walmart, and they'll get like the cobwebs up at the top of their
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
ceiling.
Yep.
Well, I have one of those that I run underneath the runners in my pallets to get the Black Widow webbing out of there, because
Huh.
that's where a lot of times those hold up the twigs and the weeds that blow in there. So I do that. Like I find that I do it at the matter of fact, I should do it tomorrow. I do it at the beginning of each month, and every 30 days kind of works out good for me. Um, so it's like I don't want to do that, especially when it's like 115 degrees outside. That's the last thing I want to do. But you have to do what you have to do.
Does that space inside the pallets attract other pests besides like spiders and stuff? I never thought about that space as a possible pest attractant, but I can see how it could be for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it gets clogged up with cobwebs and stuff. So,
Hmm.
and then what happens is those cobwebs get stuff blown on them, and then they get heavier and heavier, and then they dip towards the ground, and that's where the weeds get clogged up on them, and then off they go. It sucks. But and you know what? I tried doing the diatomaceous earth going
Yeah.
around, the whole area. Well,
Yep.
that works until the wind blows.
Or it
And
rains.
yeah, so, you know,
Yeah. Diatomaceous, Jen uses diatomaceous earth for the chickens a lot. She'll put it around the coops and everything. And because it's so dry here, it's a pretty good product, but that's part of the problem too. If it rains, you got to reapply.
look
So
at look at this one.
yeah. Yep.
Oh, so true, DC. So true. Yeah. So diatomaceous earth is just, it's a good weapon, but I can't use it.
Yeah.
You know.
I, I use cinder blocks a lot, sometimes for like the bases to put like wood across,
Yeah.
sometimes to put the hive right on. And I've learned if you put cinder blocks down so the holes are going up and down, that's a great
Yeah.
cavity for a mouse to make a nice little nest. And it's
Yeah.
just inviting those mice to figure out how to get into that colony over the winter. So I've learned that if I'm using cinder blocks to turn those so the hole's going sideways, because that's a nice sheltered area in there that's probably getting some heat from the colony, it's a perfect place for mice to overwinter.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? On the flip side of that coin, it's a great place for black widows too. You put
Yeah.
a bottom board on top of that cinder block, and oh, bingo, someplace dark. Yeah, they love that. Yeah, moats. Yeah, I do need moats.
Getting some good ideas.
Boric acid mixed with Crisco. I've heard of that. I haven't tried it. Uh, I know boric acid will work though. That's for sure. You could kill spiders and ants with soapy water. Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you, when if I could catch the ant invasion quickly, like in the early stages, I take my bee brush and I'll go around that box or the pallet or whatever, and I'll just for a half an hour, 45 minutes. I bet it looks funny if you like were on the property next to the farm and you look down and you saw me doing this. It must just it looks stupid, but that's what I have to do, and I'm just like, maybe I'll get a bee vacuum, or an ant vacuum. I can invent one of those. Maybe I could sell it.
An ant vacuum.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy. I'm just so over ants. Last year I held them back really well, and so I hope to do it this year. But I have to get rid of the grass that's around my bees. So I'm not going to rake or anything like that. I just have to figure something out to get rid of the grass.
So you put formic on your colonies. They've got a couple more days. Did you go in at all to take a look at the impact of that formic, like during
Yeah.
that process?
Well, not in the colonies itself. I've only lifted one lid,
Okay.
and but there was an awful lot of dead bees on my geo carpet or weed barrier, whatever.
Like in front of the
Um,
colony?
yeah, it's I don't know if Ian's still on here, but when I was sweeping him up, I was thinking about Ian and his wheelbarrow in the dead of winter.
Yeah.
But um, I I went out there this morning, and a couple days after I had swept, and they were back again. So I'm like, ooh,
Mm.
and I didn't see the first day or 2 days after I put them on. I did see some larvae that they had dragged out and dropped, or pupa that they
Okay.
had dropped. Um, and I picked up a nugget of information from David when he was on Bob's chat on Tuesday night. He
Okay.
talked about the first, I think he said 36 hours, but on the label, I think it's the first 3 days. You definitely on day one, you want to be in the temperature range. Do not go above 85 and you have to be above 50. That's on day one. It's right on the label, the first 24 hours. But David said, well, I think he meant 3 days, but he said 36 hours. That's the other critical juncture or junction is the first 3 days. If I think after that first 24-hour period, the label said something about you cannot have temperatures that exceed 92 degrees within that, I guess, second and third day. And maybe I'm quoting it wrong. I just kind of glanced at the label online, but
And
it kind of matches up with what he said.
yeah. Did you
And
freeze yours before putting them on?
I did
Okay.
freeze mine.
Okay.
Yeah. But that paper that's on there, that's supposed to slow down that flash too. Now, whether it does or not, I don't know.
Sure.
But I'll tell you what, I still grab some fumes of that stuff, man, and boy, that'll get your attention.
Yep.
And even on your eyes, if it kind of goes by your eyes, it kind of stings a little bit,
Yeah. And
But
you have pallets, so you don't have any like IPM trays that you can pull out to monitor mite kill.
no, and you know what? I didn't do mite counts on every single box because I didn't have time. I didn't do any mite counts, period. I should have, but I didn't. But because I was looking at the temperature range,
Yeah.
and when I started, I was like, "Oh man, this is gonna be great." I was in the mid 70s for like 3, 4, 5 days, and then it started turning hot. And right now it's 82, but today it got up to 90. Yesterday was 88, and so looking forward at that forecast, I was freaking out. But then I felt a lot better after hearing what David from Nod said, and you know what, I like what it's doing. I don't have any, as far as I can tell, um, I don't have any abscons. I don't. I mean, I don't know about the queens. I don't know if they killed a queen or whatever. But I'll find out like probably Wednesday after work.
Hmm.
Uh, but I'm happy with it. I really am. But I'm really glad that I heard David talk about that on Tuesday night because that really calmed my fears.
Yeah. And he also said something like that the application is hardest on the eggs and the youngest larva. Do you remember him saying
Yeah,
that? So
yeah,
here's my question. If you apply formic and it kills the queen, will they have sufficient material to raise a new queen?
probably not. I mean, according to what he said, but you never know. I mean,
Right, right.
all it takes is one egg.
Yeah, you're right. Just one out in the corner somewhere that just
Yeah,
survives.
yeah. But I, that what was it, about a month ago? He was on. Brad's channel. Brad had him on.
Yeah.
Man, that whole time he was talking was gold. I was like,
that was a clinic.
Yeah, I was glued to my screen watching that. I was like, wow. I really, he's the CEO of Nod, and I really appreciate him coming on and sharing all of that knowledge. I mean, you don't see that every day from companies.
I agree.
I mean, that's very, very, very good. I love that. But yes, you know what? I'm not scared of forming between listening to David and talking with Tom at Nobby. I'm actually gonna rotate it in. I'm not too worried about it now. The only thing that sucks is the price, but the price sucks for everything right now,
Yes.
But if it works, which it does, I'm going to have strong bees this summer. I'm going to have a nice wildflower crop. We'll see how it goes. But I am not scared now of using it. If anybody's listening, give it a try. It's not that bad. Yeah, you'll see dead bees, but you know what? If your bees are in the grass, Brian, you're not going to see dead bees. I only see dead bees because they're on that mat.
I agree. Yeah. Unless it's a big pile of bees. And if you got a big pile of bees in the grass, you got problems.
Yeah, you have issues. But I'm starting to like that. It's easy to apply. I thought, oh man, these fumes are going to get me, like oxalic acid.
Yep.
Now I did apply it during a windy day, and I kind of kept up wind.
Mm-hmm.
And I caught a whiff every once in a while. It's not too bad. I don't like breathing it, but
it's not like oxalic though, where you breathe it and you immediately regret it.
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah. Oxalic is like mustard gas. It destroys your lungs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I turned into a Formic guy.
Just trying to show Clay's here. Clay's. We were talking about marketing strategies Thursday night on Keith's channel, and Clay's taking this spotted lanternfly honey and really figuring out how to market it. It's pretty cool, highlighting the attributes of the health benefits of spotted lanternfly. Even if you don't like the taste, finding that niche market for it, that's awesome, Clay. Good for you.
Man, I wonder what that would taste like in a creamed honey version. I wonder if that would work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I don't imagine it wouldn't.
Did you taste some of it at Nobby from Ryan? Is it Ryan Williamson? Is that his name?
Yep, I bought one of his. I think I bought it from the SBGMI. It was like a fundraiser for them. They were selling some of his, and I got some of Clay's as well.
Yeah.
Definitely Ryan's was the strongest of them. That was
a different taste, but it didn't taste bad. It was just different. Yeah. And the texture was weird too. But yeah, it was good. I liked it.
I was not as big a fan of it as you were. At first it was okay, and then you get this back end where you're like, ugh, what is that?
See, mine was the opposite. It was the front end that was it hit you real quick, but then it mellowed out. At least it did for me.
Yeah, look, Clay.
What? Still not a fan. Did you highlighted what Brent said a minute ago?
Yeah.
About the price. Where did that go? Yeah. So I'm going to have to check that video out. But what's Mike saying? Todd, I enjoy smoked fish, so the flavor wasn't that far off. It didn't taste like smoked fish.
You got a back note of smoked fish. There you go, Clay. There's your marketing line right there. That's awesome, Mike. Good to see you in here, by the way. Good to see you, Mike. Have you ever harvested honey or ever got honey that you just don't like, or you're like, ugh, what am I going to do with this? Have you ever had that, Todd?
Not yet. No,
Yeah.
no, not yet. I'll tell you what, though. I'm going to start bottling my spring harvest, which is basically orange. But they packed in some peach and some plum nectar in there too before the oranges hit. And holy cow, it tastes like it's buttery. The honey's got a buttery taste to it. I'm like, man, this is gonna go fast. I might have
That
to
does
jump
sound
the
really
price.
good.
It's I'll send you a bottle. It's really, really good. I might have to jump the price a little bit. And so just so everybody knows, I think what's wrong?
I have 40 buckets of it.
Oh my God. Holy cow.
That's going to be a challenge, Clay.
Hey, give it to Charlie. Charlie talks about that stuff all the time. He could use some of that. 40 buckets. Holy cow.
Well, first of all, congratulations. That's a heck of a harvest, Clay.
Is that your main flow, Clay? Spotted lanternfly. Oh.
I was talking to him, maybe it was St. Louis, and he was talking about how he's trying to figure out how he can like harvest the different honey from the spotted lanternfly and trying to figure out when he can pull the first part before the lanternfly gets here, so at least he can separate it out. You know, he has no control over whether it's going to be in his area or not, but he's trying to figure out how he can separate the non-lanternfly from the lanternfly. That's 2 years of it. So it is stockpiling. Right on.
Holy cow. What is that? I can't do the math right now. What is that?
40 buckets. 40 times 60 is 2,400.
2,400. Holy cow.
Welcome back, Joey. Joey, we were guessing what your topic was of your talk tonight. Will you tell us what you talked about?
Yes.
Clay, sell it to Bob.
Oh, holy moly.
Yeah, Mike's totally right about this. Make a sign. I'd charge more for it. The premium cost sometimes draws some more folk. Hey, why is that one more than that one? Well, let me tell you why it's more. Here's why. This is why this is honey. That
what do you have to lose, Clay? You know, what the heck? Might as well. I mean, it's not gonna. Oh yeah, Tom and Melissa came up with a good one too.
I wonder how, and this is a general statement, not just spotted lanternfly, but I wonder how the different types of honey, when used in baking products, impacts that end product. You know, if you use a spotted lanternfly honey to make like a granola, I think that flavor is going to be there. You know, I think there's maybe ways you can use it where you get the sweetness, but not other stuff. I don't know, but I don't know. Oh, honey supers.
Yeah.
When to add the honey supers. That's a good one.
Roy, I don't know. I didn't get the smoked fish flavor that Mike was talking about, but I can't even describe it. It's just different. At least what Ryan had, and that was from Virginia. Or wait, is Ryan in West Virginia or Virginia?
I don't know either. I think Virginia, but I'm not sure. All right, so here's my honey super question for you, Todd. When you put supers on, do you put one out at a time, or do you put two on initially? What does that look like for you?
For oranges, I put two on. For wildflower, I just put one. Because oranges, it's like fast and furious. The wildflower just kind of goes and goes. But you know what? Now, if I do the mediums next year, I'm probably going to do 3 or 4. I mean, 4 would be about equal. See, I have to get a bunch of comb drawn this summer, so I don't know how I'm going to do that yet.
Clay, do you have any of his genetics? And if you do you have an opinion, or do you have an opinion about them, even if you don't have them? You might have heard from people around you that have used them. He's an interesting guy. I love his creativity. His bee yard is like a little lab where he's got all these different experiments going on. He's an interesting guy.
No. Okay. We got a clarification from Mike.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there you go. Just the smoky flavoring, not the fish. It does have a smoky flavor to it, though. That I remember that.
You know, going back to this one, I think this one really speaks to the variability of the flow in the spring, at least for me. I think sometimes the flow, when it comes on slow, one super can be enough. But for me too, if it's during a swarming potential time, adding two
Yeah.
supers is going to be adding so much more space to relieve that congestion.
Yeah.
So it's you're kind of like, I don't know. You could be dancing with different factors, but I got to the point where I'm like, I'm just going to put two honey supers on now because it could be one now and one next week. I might as well just do them all now and just have it be less. Two supers buys you time. I bet that's Melissa typing there.
That kind of sounds like Melissa.
And that's what I think too. And I can hear Tom saying, well, sometimes you don't need two supers to buy you time. And he'd be right about that as well. And I think that's why, you know, sometimes one, sometimes two would be the best. But I don't think there's really a wrong answer there when you get down to it. It's just about preference.
What about you, though? I mean, do you have like a fast and furious flow where you got to give them a lot of room right up front?
No, not initially. You know, typically, this year's been different, but typically we'll get a first flow that's a gradual flow. And then at some point, the faucet just turns on. And that was the dance for me, is figuring out that timing of when that faucet turns on. But I got to the point now, I was like, oh, I'm just going to put, because now I have two supers for every colony. I'm just going to put two of them on right as I see that flow beginning, and I'll get with it what I get.
So ours are completely different. Yours is different from mine, completely opposite. So
like heavy and fast, and then it slows down,
and then it's steady after that, but it's a light steady.
You know? See, ours is heavy and fast, and there's a week where you're like, it's ending, and then like in a day it turns off, and you can tell, you know, that hive tool that's got honey on it that you left out in the backyard that gets ignored all summer long. There's that one day where there's like 50 bees on it, and you're like, flow's over, time to start harvesting.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, meadow foam honey. I think they make it up like where Jose's at, up in Northern California. I haven't tried it.
I have. It's awesome. It's very marshmallowy.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, it's very unique for sure. It's one of those, you'll taste it and you'll be like, okay, this is meadow foam, and then you'll be able to identify it because it's so unique in the future. I think it's really nice.
And it actually does, the areas that it grows, it looks like foam on a meadow.
Oh, really?
White. Yeah, it's a white flower. So it looks all foamy. It's crazy.
Now, Todd, I got to ask you, you're a little bit older than me. You're doing deep honey supers. Yeah. Are you starting to transition to mediums because those are getting too heavy for you?
Yeah, you know, what was I thinking the other day? I was going to text you. Yeah, I've got an old man my operation now.
Yeah. See, I went into my operation with an old man mentality because I had a bad back already. So I was like, I ain't doing that. What else can I do?
I talked to Boris at Nobby. I'm really thinking hard about a hive lifter.
Oh, okay.
I've talked to Joey a little bit about it. I talked to Charlie a little bit about. I'm like, remember Charlie when he was talking to everybody and their brother about ApiGuard for
Yeah.
like 2 years?
Yep.
Now I feel like that. So I've got to like do something here pretty soon.
This is the sense I get, Todd. It looks like there are times where it could slow you down, but it could help out in the long run because even though you're going slower, I don't think it's taking as much toll on your body as if you were to pick it up and do it manually. That's
Yeah.
the sense I get.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, you're correct.
And it'd be for me too, something I would look at if my situation was right for it. But like how I have my bees, where I have my bees, it just doesn't work for my situation right now.
So here's my big nightmare problem. When I configured pallets and boxes and stuff, I didn't know what a hive lifter was. I didn't even think about a hive lifter.
Yeah.
Well, on the short side of my boxes, I have like 2-inch cleats down a couple inches from the top of the box for a handle. And then on the long side, I have the handles cut out. What's even worse is that the clips on the pallet are U clips. They're not W clips. So a hive lifter is not going to fit in there to grab those handholds.
Got it. Yeah.
So I'd have to go from the side. And then right now, I can't get anything in between those pallets because they're close together. So, do I change the pallets and the clips? Do I change the box? Well, I'd have to change the clips for sure. And I'd have to rearrange everything. I'd have to space them out a lot more. It's no big deal.
I get why you're stuck on that because that means buying something else or fixing something you already had that you previously didn't have a problem with.
Yeah. And I've considered taking my chainsaw and cutting my pallets in half. I've considered that. And the only problem with that is I'd have to buy like 80 more of those oil traps off of eBay, because I need 4 for each pallet.
I actually, when I started, I had this idea that I was going to run 8-frame mediums on everything. 8-frame because of the lighter weight and mediums because of the simplicity of one piece of equipment, one frame, one found, you know what I mean? And I never really did it, but I did run some all medium colonies. I did a couple all medium 10 frames a little bit, and most of what I did was deeps as my brood chamber, and it felt frustrating for me. And maybe this was because I was an earlier beekeeper and I was going through every single frame, but it took a lot longer to go through those 3 boxes, which is the same as the 2 boxes because you've got to go through a third more frames, right? So that frustrated me a little bit, but I also was worried about just making a really tall, skinny tower instead of something fatter because you're going to put more supers on and probably more brood chambers with 8-frame mediums of everything. So I imagined it falling over, way more likely to fall over.
I picked deeps because it made sense what Fat B-Man said about equipment. So one size, right? Don't have mediums and deeps because, the frames get all mixed up and, so I just always did deeps. I mean, if I take, like, for instance, Mike Berry, he's got medium or shallows. I think they're shallows, actually. And then deeps as brood chambers. And, that's all that the mediums are there for. I wish I kind of thought it out a little more, but I didn't. So I'm stuck where I'm at now. But I'm just going to add. I'm just going to do just do mediums.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that I found here in Colorado, we don't have a really, really strong flow. So I can see like people like Ian who have that crazy flow when it comes on. Filling out a deep can happen really fast. For us, filling out a medium isn't going to happen really fast. So Like there were times, again, in the early part of my beekeeping career where I was putting on deeps and it took them forever to fill that out, or they partially filled it out,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So, and that's why a lot of people were using, I think, smalls or shallows for varietal honey because they were trying to catch that really short period of time
Yeah.
and pack that one varietal into one box in particular. I don't see people using shallows very often around me anymore. Do you see people doing that?
No, I just see mediums.
Yeah.
That's all I see.
Yeah, this is another factor too with deeps and mediums, selling nukes. If you don't sell nukes, mediums are the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I just have to get them to draw out a bunch of wax this year. And then next year I'll be set. And those are just, supers or dedicated supers. And like you just said, I'm gonna have to really watch myself when the oranges come because it's fast and furious, and I got to add boxes, and that's no big deal. It's only a couple of weeks out of the whole year where I really have to pay attention, and then the rest of the year I could cruise along with one or two boxes here and there, and you know,
Yeah, this is a good one too. We don't want any brood
yeah,
comb in our supers. When you run all deeps, you have to keep your frames
yeah,
all separated. I
yeah,
find it's easy. Like I don't have to worry about was this frame treated with Apogard because I know if it's a medium, it wasn't because that's a honey super and they're not on my colonies when I treat it with Apogard. And I assume if it is a deep, then it has been treated with Apogard because at some point it's going to be if it's over a year old. But the
mhm,
benefit, though, of using all one size frame to counter this argument, like if you're doing all mediums and you don't use a queen excluder and you have that queen go into a super and lay in two of those frames, it's okay because that frame can just become a brood frame and then
yeah,
you can replace it and then those can just become brood frames that go in those brood boxes. So there are pros and cons to the flexibilities of both of them, but especially for me and my scattered brain, I don't have to keep track of has this been treated, has it not? Can I pull honey out of this frame? Can I not? I just know if it's a medium, it's for honey, and if it's a deep, it's for the
mhm.
brood chamber.
And that's what's going to happen around here.
Yeah.
Hopefully next year. Might take me a year or two to get all medium supers, but it'll happen.
That'll take some time for you to build up your honey crop then, because that all
Yeah,
that's going to take. But the trade-off though is it's going to give you more comb for your brood chambers
yeah, yeah,
because all those honey supers will then become for you could expand or you can replace dead
yep,
out, you can do splits,
yep.
all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've got some frames I need to call. I really do. So I'll probably do that the end of this year.
Nice. How
Yeah,
many nukes do you sell, Roy?
man.
I think I sold 14 this year, which is not very good. And I've got 10 of them out the door and 4 more still to be picked up. I had a
Hmm.
guy call me the other night. He's like, I got your, first of all, they were ready early. Like on my website, their estimated readiness is May 14th. So people weren't expecting them to be ready. I had one guy be like, I haven't even got my equipment yet. And I'm like, dude, don't worry about it. Let me know. Let me know when you get it all set up and ready to go. I'll have a nuke for you ready when you're ready to. So I got like 4 more to pick up. Had a couple nibbles at the market, but no one biting.
What do you charge for your nukes up there?
I'm doing 225 for my nukes this year. Yep. But I'll tell you what, there's a lot of competition this year. There's a couple people that have kind of moved into the area selling nukes on almost like on a commercial scale.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people like every year there's a lot of backyard beekeepers that'll post a split or something or a split or two, but those are like onesie twosie kind of sellers.
yeah,
There's a whole lot more of them this year because of the good overwintering numbers that people have had. So the warm winter means a lot of bees in spring, means a lot of splits and swarms, means a lot of people trying to sell bees.
Well, I've got something that just crossed my mind that I was going to talk about earlier.
Yeah,
So changing topics and gears.
go for it.
So we were talking about the supers that I purchased today. This place doesn't have wax dipping set up yet, but I recently ran across an article. It was a video. I don't know how it came up on my YouTube feed, but it talked about what the Amish do.
Okay.
In the Amish, they have a couple of ingredients. They have I think it's called hydrated lime, linseed oil, and then there's something else that they mix in there. I can't remember from the video. So what they do is they take a wire brush and they scrub the wood. Even if it's been painted, you still scrub it. You don't have to get the paint off, but if it's brand new wood, all you're trying to do is expose the grain more. And then you mix up this, it looks like a whitewash. And then you mix it up and you apply it. And then you let it dry for 24 hours and then you apply it again. And you're good for like 50 years. And I thought, because right now in my area, people dip boxes, literally. They dunk them and that's it. They don't cook them. So I can't get these people to understand, like, you're really messing your own business up by doing that. Well, whatever. So I ran across this thing and I'm really seriously thinking about trying some of it. Now, the only problem is that this application, it does three things. I remember two of them. I think the third one is waterproofing, but it keeps the wood from rotting, and then it also keeps the insects from burrowing into it. I think the video said it's an insect repellent. So I couldn't do the inside of the boxes, which wouldn't be a big deal anyway.
Yeah.
But it stops wood rot because it's not something that covers and seals the surface of the wood. What that does is it doesn't allow the wood to naturally breathe. This stuff does. It goes into the grain. It's like wax, I guess. If you think about it, you're cooking the wax into it or replacing the moisture in the wood with the wax. This basically does the same thing, except there's an invisible shield that it creates, and it preserves the wood. I'm like, hey, if it waterproofs it and preserves it, that's all I want. I don't care. And it costs like 28 cents a gallon to make. The bad part is that you have to apply it. So I gotta brush it on.
Yeah. And then you don't have to reapply it though?
Nice. Okay. They say that some of the Amish buildings that have been built have lasted 140 years without having to be worked on, like wood rot or the wood fading or peeling away and stuff. It doesn't age. So I'll send it to you.
So you're gonna give it a try, or?
I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna give it a try with these supers. What the hell?
DC's got some new bees and some new setups. Have you seen his comments in here?
No, I haven't.
He's got his buddy, that guy Harris. He's got a YouTube channel. I've watched one or two. In fact, when I was learning how to do the oxalic shop towels, I found one of his videos, and I think that's what DC's talking about. He got some bees from his buddy there. It's cool that guy helps out DC quite a bit.
Tom and Melissa, dipping is literally what they're doing, because I talked to the guys that are at this new pallet place, and they used to work there, and that's what they do is they dip them. They just coat them in wax, and that's it. They don't cook them. And you can see the drip marks too. When that stuff dries, like I caught when I brought a load home, I saw the drip marks on the side of the box. I'm like, what the heck is this? So they don't cook them for 3 minutes. They don't cook them for 6 minutes. They don't cook them.
What do you think Clay means by this, Todd? I've become a real beekeeper this year, doing more than just collecting honey. What have you done this year that's been different, that's made you feel more like a beekeeper?
I thought he said on one of his videos recently that he's not a beekeeper or a bad beekeeper or
Sounds
something
like
like
he
that.
was struggling this year with
Yeah.
swarms, and it sounds like they're going to have a really tough honey harvest because of the tree damage or something like that out there. So I'm not sure what you mean, Clay, but I
We
mean,
got
you're right about that. If challenges really make you step up and become a better whatever, that definitely sounds like what you're going through these days.
wow. Plus the 40 buckets of
Yeah.
hmm.
Eric says everyone needs a Harris. Eric, one day you'll be someone's Harris. You'll be that guy helping out the new guy. That'll be awesome. You'll be great at that.
Oh no, the EcoWood stuff is not good for bee boxes.
Boy, let me tell you, I have heard really strong opinions on both sides of the aisle about EcoWood, and I've never used the product. I've heard of people that are like you who are like, nope, nope, don't do that, and other people that really, really stand. In fact, I think Keith Spillman dips all of his boxes in EcoWood, and he just loves it. That's one of those things that I find really interesting. Why do people have such a different experience with that product?
I
I don't know.
forgot the reason why.
Yeah, Keith, if you're still on here, if you could comment about your experience with EcoWood.
He might be asleep. It's 11:30 over there.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh.
Hmm.
Who
I had a
wrote who
good.
who wrote this?
Yeah, it's a full-time job.
Well, now wait a minute. You know, I wanted to jump on last night when Keith was on, and you and Tom and Melissa were on. Or wait, Thursday night.
Thursday, yeah.
And I was going out of the gate of the farm, and I had to get out and lock it. And I remember her saying something about letting Tom roam around or something like that on his own. And I'm like, what the heck? I was asking for that to happen in Nobby for like 6 months prior. Yeah. And I always got shot down. And then here she is talking about letting him roam around on his own. I'm like, well, where was this at? And then I was trying to rush home to get on the computer to jump on, Keith's show. And I was about a mile away, and he signed off. I'm like, oh,
man. That's awesome. I still find a frame or two with blue paint on it from then. I used a product once called Penafin, and honestly, I don't know much about it, but I think it's fairly similar to the EcoWood. I had a buddy of mine recommend it to me because I wanted to keep the wood kind of look, and that was before people were wax dipping, or before I knew about it anyway. And I've been happy with the product, except it's a product that you're supposed to reapply every couple of years, and that's just never going to happen. Like, when am I going to do that?
Yeah.
You know, it's been 3 years. Let me pull this box off the colony, put a new box on, pull all the frames off so I can take that box home and reapply it. It's just not going to happen. So it doesn't.
I'm really not into painting. That's for sure.
Yeah. And staining's easier. You don't have to be so exact, as painting.
You see what Melissa said?
This one?
Yeah. He spends half of what we made at the cookie booth. Well, what I kind of remember about Eco Wood was that, yeah, it gives it that antique-ish look, that worn look,
Yeah.
but it doesn't preserve the wood.
Yeah.
And so you get wood rot eventually, or not wood rot, but it's not protected.
Yeah. That's why I've really enjoyed the wax dip boxes. I got some from Randy Tarheel over at the Bee Expo this year. I'm really happy with those.
How did
I wish Randy lived closer so I could have him dip all of our stuff.
Me too. Me too. I have a problem with my email request getting to, or actually him emailing me boxes back.
Yeah.
He's not doing it.
Was he a proponent of it, or did he not like the product? Oh. Oh.
I think DC likes wax dipping.
He uses it. Okay.
The wood warps and sweats or swells.
My biggest problem with boxes is the old ones that I put together are starting to warp and you get the little holes and cracks. And right now it's no problem, but when the dearth hits, that could be a robbing potential.
Yeah.
So I do have a couple of boxes that I need to switch out before that happens.
No. I'm going to try that Amish thing and see what the heck.
Yeah, let us know. Will you, by next Thursday, have gone into your colonies and be able to report out about what you see post-formic?
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, not all of them, but most of them.
Cool.
Yeah.
It'd be neat to see what you see.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know. Oh, yeah, because next Thursday's the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that.
Cool.
Eric talks about Beeline. Have you bought Beeline frames?
Yes.
How are they? Are they solid frames? Are they good frames?
I haven't had any problem with them.
Hmm.
I've only had one type of frame that I've had problems with, and it was with the foundation that one time. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm still dealing with the ramifications of that. And I curse every time I see one of those frames in my colony and I pull it out. And I'm like, God damn
it. Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering what was going on, and then I noticed, the same problem.
Hey, now that's an idea.
Hey, I'll barbecue in the parking lot.
I did, Melissa. It took me a week or two, but I did fill out that registration form or the form you sent me for that conference. I'm assuming that was to Melissa. But it did take me a week to go through all my emails, and then I did hit that one. And I am thinking about driving this year. I think that'll be fun. Nice little road trip. Can't believe I'm already.
I'll fly up to Denver.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, Todd. We could drive out together. That would be awesome. But I can't believe I'm already thinking about February.
Brent has a question. So this video was not about bee boxes. It was just how the Amish treated wood and their wood structures, barns. Now you see a barn that's 180 years old and it's not, the wood's not damaged, and or cabins and stuff like that. A lot of it in Pennsylvania, Amish country.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, it's like you could get all the stuff over at Tractor Supply,
Yeah.
So I'll send you the video, Brian. You can take a look at it if you want.
Sure. What do you think about this? What is 100 frames? If you were to buy 100 frames, where would you buy them, and how much would they cost? You could drive to a store. You wouldn't have to deal with shipping, right?
he could drive to Beeline because Beeline's in Washington.
Okay.
Well, one of them. There's Washington and Minnesota.
Yeah.
And I know how much John charges, and I know how much Beeline charges. And I think what John puts out is what we were talking about just now. And that whole supplier.
Yep.
And I mean, at least that's what it looks like from descriptions. And that's why I asked about the Beeline frames. You know,
Yeah.
now I have no problem with the frames from that other supplier. I like them. I have tons of them.
It's just the foundation.
Well, that's been fixed too, but there's always kind of that thought in the back of your head.
Yeah.
Oh, so since we're on this topic, so John, and I think Beeline does too. John offers the foundation in black or in white. And so I want to get yellow. But I've never had white, so I don't know. I mean, it's just a color, I get it, but is there really an advantage to having black for a honey super frame versus white or yellow? I don't know.
I don't know. The only color preference I know is the black for seeing eggs.
Yeah.
I don't get the purpose of why is black the brood and why is white or yellow for honey. Is there a color? Is there anything meaningful about that, or is it arbitrary?
Because I thought I heard Tom say the other night that he could see the nectar better on a black foundation.
Okay. Or on the light foundation, you can see the color of the nectar?
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing.
Have a good night, Joey.
See you, Mr. Ross. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like, is that the reason? Just yellow for honey?
Yeah, or white. I mean, I really, it doesn't matter what color, but I'm just.
There you go. The white for the supers is easier to see the color of the honey.
Okay. I thought he said black, but he said white.
Yeah, I get the black and the eggs part. That part I knew.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I'm going to make an order with Beeline, and Beeline is at what, $4.02 assembled and double waxed.
And to go back to DC's question, the roundabout way, I believe Beeline has like a price point where there's free shipping after it, and if you're buying 100 frames, I'm sure you'll be over that price point.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd guess $400, somewhere between 300 and 400, if you're getting a place, if you're not paying for shipping.
DC, how many frames are you looking? I'm going to look at it right now.
I'll also say, if I try to go to my local store and buy frames, I'm going to pay probably the most expensive for a frame because it's a very small local store and they're not buying in bulk. Whereas you could be going to a Dedant or a Man Lake and getting a much different price because of the local store in your area. So that's going to be a huge variable too.
Did he say how many? He wants 100. Okay,
yeah.
I'm on there right now. I'll put 100 in the cart and see if it says. Oh, come on.
DC's been working on his TARDIS. I'm not a big Doctor Who fan, but my kids were at a point in their lives, so I know what a TARDIS is.
Come on, Ed. There we go. Add to cart. Dang it.
I harvested, while you're doing that, Todd, I harvested a whole bunch of virgins the other day, some virgin queens. I went into one of those colonies with queen cells that had virgins emerging. So some of them I could already see the virgins are emerged. And then there was a whole bunch of cells where they hadn't emerged. So I just sat there and pried them open and caught every virgin that was coming out. And I brought them home, and they're sitting in my incubator right now. I have a bunch of nukes and splits in my backyard, and a couple of them, I'm not sure the queen came back. So
Oh,
for those, I just dropped a virgin in. So I went from 8 down to 5 just because, like, look, I don't know what I'm going to do with these. I could fix this or not. And so in the meantime, I'm going to try to keep the others alive in my incubator for as long as I can
yeah,
and then use them as needed.
yeah. And we've had discussions, but holy cow, what in the world is going on here? I'm now up to 300 frames. So I can tell you 300 frames, you get free shipping. But it won't let me take anything out. And I even logged, well, I didn't log in, but I even jumped off.
Now, Roy, my question for you is, are these the wooden frames with plastic foundation from Acorn, or are these the Acorn foundations that are just fully plastic? It sounds like you're saying the wooden ones with your description of the bars.
Oh my gosh. I'm out of
Every,
bed.
everything's a harvest, right? As a small business, you got to look at everything as a potential harvest. Even those virgin queens could be a potential harvest for you to either turn into a mated queen or to sell as a virgin queen.
Okay.
Thank you.
I got an answer for DC.
Go for it.
So it's free shipping for 100 frames.
So what's the cost though? 400 for
402.
402. So $4.02. Yep.
Yeah.
That's fair for the amount of work put into assembling a frame.
Yeah. Oh, that's easy. That's an easy decision. I don't have to spend time doing that. And double wax. I think it was double wax. Let me see. Double wax. Yeah, double wax. Black plastic foundation, groove top. So
DC says bills are $350 for 100. Now, is that free shipping from Bill? Because if shipping was included in that, it would kind of even out.
I know Bill's had a problem with shipping lately, it sounds like. He keeps mentioning shipping has kind of been off.
Yeah.
DC, how far are you from, well, locate a dealer. Let's see. It is par. Oh, hang on.
While you're looking, Todd, I had a chance to. We don't have any big dealers here in Colorado. In fact, Denver doesn't have any really big stores. Our best store in Colorado is in Colorado Springs. And when Tom and Melissa came out, I had a chance to take Tom to that store and got to meet Leonard and Dolly, who some of you might have seen at the Bee Expo. They're Rocky Mountain Bee Supply, and they've gone to the Bee Expo for not every single year, but I think maybe they missed the first one or the first two. And they're really nice folks as well. So it was neat to get Tom to meet them too.
DC, that Beeline has two offices. One's in Washington and Rochester, Washington. I don't know where that's at, but can't be that far away from you. I don't know. I have to figure this out tomorrow. I need 400 frames. Or I'm gonna need 400 frames.
I guess my question is, does Andrew know this yet? And how does he feel about this?
$100, that's it? Holy cow. Someone's going to turn you into CPS.
It's interesting. They pay their kids a percentage after he does 20. He's coming for more money. Yeah. Yeah, he'll figure out that was a bad deal.
Yeah,
That was a raw deal. I want to renegotiate.
especially if he's like putting them together in the garage where it's not air conditioned.
Yeah, that's probably I'm with you, Ripple. It's not a
Yeah,
terrible job, but it's not.
it sucks.
I'm at a point where I'll pay someone else to do it too.
Dang, look at that, $2 a box.
All right.
Hey, can I ship some of my boxes?
Yeah, right.
Frames up there.
You know, they have their kids do markets as well, and they
Yeah.
pay their kids a percentage.
Yeah.
And we do it a little differently. We give our kids a dollar amount per hour. I'm not sure which is better.
Yeah.
I definitely see the motivation factor the way they're doing it, right? The percent, like you're going to be up and trying harder if how much you sell makes a difference and how much goes in your pocket. But
Yeah.
there are some times where the days are just so bad it doesn't matter how hard you're working. You're only coming home with so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Eric's on the right path there.
He has a frame jig.
No,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, that one.
I still have 100 to finish. Yeah.
A frame jig does work. I mean, it does save time.
Yeah. I mean, having like a staple gun as well, that was one of my first investments too, getting an air compressor and a staple gun if I was going to be assembling these, not
Yeah.
doing nails and a hammer. That's like using a hand crank extractor.
That's like
Nope.
back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
it.
Nathan Coleman had a video way back when he just started where he made a box jig where you could basically do the same thing with box parts and you can assemble
Mhm.
3 boxes all at once. So I made one of those as well, and I used that when I was putting together a bunch of boxes, but then I got to that point like Eric where I'm like, all right, I'm just going to pay
Yeah.
someone else just a couple dollars more and it saves me
Yeah.
so much time. It's worth
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's something it's taken me a long time, but as a small business owner, we talked about wearing all of the hats of a business owner. And at some point you can't wear them all because they get more and more and more. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to pay someone else to do the job for you, whether it's your kid or someone at Beeline putting it together already. You know, you can't do it all. And that's where people burn out trying to do it all. He's got a jig and air tools. He's good to go. DC's wondering about extractors.
Okay, so DC, I just purchased a Max 21. I'm glad I did. That thing is sweet. I'm really, really happy with it. So it holds 18 deep frames and it holds 21 mediums and 12 deep frames. So and then that's another nice thing about going to mediums is I'm going to be knocking out more boxes faster.
Yeah.
You know, so it might be the same amount of honey, but it just seems to be faster.
So I almost feel like DC's saying, is it worth the $550 to be able to spin out 3 more frames per round? And I guess that assumes all other things being equal. So if you feel like these two products are equal in every other way, is it worth another $550 to be able to spin out 3 more frames? I don't know.
The Hilco extractor that DC's talking about is made in Turkey, and Turkey has really good material.
Yeah.
Really good stainless.
And I'll be honest with I don't know either of these products firsthand, but I wonder if either have the longevity and history to be able to be like, yeah, this product is going to last 10 years
Well,
because it hasn't even been around 10 years, you know?
he, John's got the 10 years on. Well, he's got 40. Well, Tom would know this more. 4 years on the gearbox, the
Yeah.
motor,
Yep.
and the control panel or a control box, and then 10 years on everything else.
Yeah.
So,
And John's well known for his customer service. Anything goes wrong, he's going to make it right. I feel like Bill is the same. He doesn't
yeah,
necessarily have that reputation, but my experience with him is he's been just like that and trying to make sure his customers happy with the product.
yeah,
I don't know the warranty difference between the two though.
yeah. I don't either.
Here you go. If this helps you, DC. Now I'm confused by this. You have a backup 21. No, not that one. This one. I also have a backup, like a backup choice, like an idea for a 21 frame extractor. Is that what you mean?
If he already has one, why are you in the market for another one?
That's how I interpreted it first. But as I started reading it out loud, I was like, maybe he means like a backup
Oh, another
one
choice.
purchase. Yeah. That's worth looking at. The other thing that you have to think about with extractors is at some point they won't get through a standard size door. And if that's a problem for you,
Brian, you have to cut the extractor in half.
Yeah, that's right.
And then walk each half through the door.
Yep. So I have a 30 frame Lyson extractor that would not fit in my house. No, I could fit it in my house. It'd have to go around the backyard and I could open up the sliding doors. That's how it would get in my house. So if that's your situation where you need to get it through a doorway, now I don't know if the difference between the 18 and the 21 frame is going to make a difference. I think 20 frame extractors that I've seen have been able to get through a door, but I'm sure there's going to be some slight variations in sizes for each one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. So Eric said he called Bill, and Bill's 5-year warranty, I guess. So that's a big difference too.
Yeah.
If you're a guy that's into warranties, but something like that is an investment. You have to look at protecting it down the road, and there's a big difference between 5 years and 10 years warranty wise.
Yep, I agree.
But when you get my age, that's not a really big, difference in years.
Here, DC, here's a factor that I think is more important than the 18 versus the 21. If you're looking to be efficient and save time, you want a radial extractor as opposed to a tangential. So,
and the Max 21 is radial, and that's so awesome. I don't have to stop and flip frames. That's no more. You just go rip through those frames, and I'm done.
Look at this. Clay says, I would rather have two. Do you mean 9 frame extractors? Are you saying you'd rather have 2 9-frame extractors than one 18 frame extractor?
Yeah. Is the 9 frame a radial? No way. It can't be radial. It'd be like a humongous wide 9 frame deal.
Yes.
Wow. Wow, Clay.
I've seen big production places do that where they have one giant extractor spinning out honey while they're loading up the other one, right? And then that one's spinning. They load up this one. They run this one, and then they empty that one and do it back and forth. Is that what you're thinking, Clay? You would do something like that, but just with 2 9s?
I bet that's what he's thinking.
I would say it depends, Eric. It depends on how big you plan on getting. I think a 12 frame will do you really well to a certain point.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that point would be. So I'm not sure what your goals are as far as how many colonies you're hoping to get up to. I can see 12 frame working for maybe a 10 to 15 colony setup, maybe 20, but beyond that, I think you might be feeling that pinch point a little bit. Here's Mike's comment. We have a 60 question mark year-old Maxant 40 frame. Then I have a 20 frame Lyson. The Lyson is light enough that I can pick it up if needed. Both are bulletproof. Interesting.
Nice.
And then Clay, here's Clay's reasoning. I keep my honey supers separate.
Oh.
That makes sense. That's a really good reason. Yeah. All right. So Eric's thinking maybe max 30. I would say that'd be pushing it. 20 to 30 might be that gray area where it would work for some people, and for other people, it would frustrate them.
I think, well, I mean, it depends on how big you want to get.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
A 30 is a nice size, though.
You can make a lot of honey with 30 colonies.
Yeah.
All right, Todd, I got to start thinking about packing up the truck for tomorrow.
Oh, no. Yeah. It's like,
I still got another market to go tomorrow. I drank
already 10
a cup
o'clock.
of coffee before our chat, so I was ready to go for the chat, but I got more work to do tonight before I can hit the sack.
Well, you should have told me, man.
Oh, no, we're good. This was great. This was a great kind of wrap up to the day, to be honest. I was staring at a wall for a little bit, and I would have done that for the rest of the night.
The rest of the night.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, well,
so
cool.
Thanks, folks, for joining us. We really enjoyed the conversation. Thanks, Russell, for sharing all your creamed honey tips with us.
Yeah.
Like Joey said, maybe one day we can get you on. Maybe we can get Clay on. We'd love to hear some of these voices. You know, we have such great conversations with all you guys when we see you at the conferences and everything, and even in the chats. But it'd be nice to hear some of those voices. Love to hear Clay talk about some of his frustrations this year and how he's overcoming them and becoming that real beekeeper this year. I think that'd be a really cool story for other people to hear when they have problems with their bees too. So thanks again, everyone, for joining in, sharing your contributions and experiences. Todd, can't wait to hear about that formic and how you're feeling about when you see the results.
Yeah. And so we'll be on your channel next Thursday.
Yep.
Thursday night at
8 o'clock Mountain, 7 Pacific. You guys got to figure out your own time zones.
Yeah.
Do the bee math.
Do the bee math.
See you in Lafayette tomorrow. I'll see you there, Eric. Sounds good. It'll be me and Cam. My son's going to be helping me out tomorrow. So it'll be fun. Going to be another beautiful day.
Nice. That's good. Good. Well,
he'll be if you can get Russell to come on, I'll bring the champagne. Deal, Mike.
I'm going to beg. I'm going to call him up and beg.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I'm going to beg.
I had the honor of, it was, I think it was the first year at Louisville. I spent like 3 hours with Russell, and we just walked up and down the aisles in the vendor hall talking creamed honey, looking at the different products. And it was really cool because I felt like Russell was intentionally spending time with me to share some of his experiences and tips. So it felt like it was like, I'm going to pass some of these gems on to you. It was really cool. Really appreciate that.
I like Russell. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's this whole community.
Yeah. Everybody is nice. But
I think American Bee Lady.
Hopefully DC gets all of his travel papers in order so he can go to Louisville next year. Yeah, that would be nice, DC.
Yep. Do you think you're going to make it next year, Todd?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Right on. Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Todd, have a great night. So we got anything big planned for the bee yard tomorrow?
No. I don't even know what. I think I'm going to do laundry and that's it.
All right.
Nothing.
That sounds like a nice Sunday planned, actually.
Actually, no, I take it back. I got to clean up spider webs with the Webster and ant proof everything. Make sure everything's ant proof.
Got it.
I wish the Formic would kill the ants, but it doesn't.
Yeah, right.
Hey,
Isn't Formic from ants? There's not
it
like,
is.
yeah.
Formic, if you squish enough ants in your hand or something and smell it,
Yeah.
it smells. It's formic acid. So
Wow.
it's the exact same smell.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
All right,
crazy.
tomorrow night, folks, Tim and Hannah, Gunline, Monday night. Hopefully Bill's feeling better. Bill's recovering a little bit. So hopefully he'll be back on Monday. And then Tuesday, Tom and Bob sometimes. And you guys know the whole schedule. And I did post this one on the No Lifers Facebook page because it was such a non-regular chat. So thanks No Life admins, if you're listening, for letting it stay up. And with that, Todd, have a great Sunday. Enjoy your Sunday off.
Enjoy your show or your market tomorrow, and hope all is well.
Thanks, man.
And I guess we'll see everybody on Wednesday.
Right on. All right. Have a good night, all.
See you later. Oh, Brian didn't end the show. So, good night, everyone. See you later.